Aaron Banks, John 42, and Reno would like to ask, Alexis, what is the difference between Kurt Russell's O'Neill and RDA's O'Neill? And which one did you like working with the most for different reasons? I'm interested to hear your answer for this from your perspective about the difference between
humor.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the key thing, and from that, all things sprung. Kurt's root, his anchor, was the
tragedy.
Having lost his tragedy, having lost his son, and that was his O'Neill's storyline. He was operating off of that. His entire persona, his whole life became about that, and therefore anything new that came along that related to or had to pull him out of it, like the mission or things like that. Whereas with RDA's, I never got the sense that any of that was there at all. Like, it didn't come up. It wasn't there. Not that it actually wasn't or anything, but
the story plot is that he's dealt with it.
Right.
Yeah, he's digested that.
So I didn't feel that in him at all. I didn't miss it. Like, I'm not, that's not a critique. That's just a notation. But that wasn't there. With Kurt, it was very much there, front and center. So when he spoke to his soldiers, his command still came from a place of hurt.
It's raw.
Everything came from a place of hurt, you know? And it was fascinating and it was interesting. And because it's Kurt and he knows what he's doing, it wasn't just angry hurt or boohoo hurt. It was just a vulnerability while he's being the general and he's arming a nuke. You get this sense of, you know, he's an amazing actor who knows how to access those feelings and project them so that you can see badass and softy at the same time. Like, that's an amazing skill to have. Yeah. And then put it into a story for us to watch, you know? So he did. So that was a major thing. I think my preferred experience was probably with Kurt, because it left the biggest, earliest impressions on me in a lot of different ways, in terms of him being Kurt Russell, the star, and then him being Kurt the person, then him being Kurt the actor that was teaching me things about how to be on set. I had my first steak and eggs breakfast with Kurt, like little things like that, right? The things he would talk about. And I was, again, at my young age, I was really naive. So that left in an impression that was different and to me a little bit more acute than the impression that RDA left on an older Alexis later on when they met, you know?
That's a fair point.
So it was really, so much of that is tied up in who I was watching what I was watching at the time. And they're such very different places, several years apart. And then with Kurt, you know, I spent 3 months with Kurt, just 3 months, like every day, all the time. I never spent 3 months with Richard.
This is true.
Right? We spent 2 weeks at a time, and really 3 to 5 days in real time, because we didn't hang out afterwards or go get drinks or anything like that. So 3 or 5 days at a time, twice every year. The relationship's going to is different.
Mm-hmm. And you were older too.
You know? So. And I was older, yeah. I was doing a lot of other, yeah. I had different things on my mind.
Of course. there's a subtext running here. Alexis has had an interesting
about me that doesn't have subtext.
Well, yeah. We'll just say Alexis has had an amazing journey, and there was a lot of stuff that was happening at the same time that is one of the reasons that you weren't able to take SG-1 full time, which we will get into in the future. But boy, am I thankful that you were there while you were. Claire Burr, what are your thoughts and feelings on your role in Shark being cut short, or was there a reason you had to leave the show? I'm not familiar with this question at all. Can you answer that? Can you speak to that?
No, I don't want to talk about Shark.
Okay.
And maybe therein lies your answer. I understand the question, but
okay.
No, in the end, it wasn't pleasant. It wasn't a highlight.
Okay.
And not something that I care to revisit. I'm proud of the work that I did while I was on there, and I think it was the right work. I'll leave it at that till a later time.
That's fair. Edward Stowers, Thomas Mahez, they would both like to know, was there any difference in playing Skaara from the movie to the TV series for you personally, despite speaking in English finally? And how did that manifest in your performance when changing from Kurt to Rick?
Good question. So it changed in the sense that it was very different. I'm trying to find the angle of approach, because there's a lot of different,
of course,
answers that'll come meet in a central spot. So taking Skaara from the film, which is a beginning, middle, end, closed circuit adventure journey, to something that was open-ended, mm-hmm. and it was created and run and developed by people that I was not familiar with and who weren't familiar with me, and I didn't have any input on that. And I didn't expect to. Right. Again, just making a notation. I didn't. Whereas in the first one, I did have input. Yeah. Right. So there was a connectedness, a sense of ownership of the process that I was able to have that I didn't have with the TV series. With the TV series, I was pretty much a passenger at the whims of whatever they decided to do with the character. At various times, I had feelings about it, one way or another. At given times, there were different things. But I was not in any position to do anything about that. Either way, so all I could do was to take those things and ideas, and as I usually do, is I translate them into, all right, well, how do I make this thing interesting in the delivery, in the scene? I have this feeling here, I have this feeling, let's put it into the work and see what happens. So that's what I did, and I tried to, part of what I was navigating was the tonal differences between the film and the TV show. Our film was popcorn as it was a damn drama. Like this is a drama thriller. Yeah. This was right, dark stuff. And then the TV series was an adventure. Like in the beginning, they were trying, because it was on cable, so it was for mature audiences. But it was
so much more like Indiana Jones. It's yeah.
Right. And later on, it became. So now, that said, I agree with the direction it went in, and it was absolutely the right way to go. This needed to be an adventure show for everybody. I agree, a little dark spin-off here, maybe a little bright kid show over there, maybe this other thing over there. There's room for Stargate of different types, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of like our mainstream touchstones, we go from this to that to that. So I'm good with all of that. But there was a difference that I had to navigate. So I'm going, what do I do with Skaara because I understood that there was a certain expectation in the narrative for this. You've grown up watching this young kid and his enthusiasm and his ingenuineness and his heart. But there's a lot of very serious things going on and happening to him that changes that. And what became difficult was that everybody, it felt like everybody, when I say everybody, I mean audiences, I mean writers, producers, cast. I think everybody wanted to hang on to and they wanted to hug or something, the Skaara from the movie. But there was a circumstance being created that can't allow for that, right? And again, I wasn't writing this, but like the characters being changed in ways like, bro, how, if you went through this, would you be the same person? Right? And I'm sorry that people are sad that they can't hug the same person.
Jack eventually does in Pretense, but still, I mean, that was what a cathartic process, though. I mean, you've literally played an angel in one show and a demon in another, you know?
Yeah.
Seriously, man.
Yeah. And then, this little kid caught in between. So that was interesting because, again, I didn't really have it. So what I had to do was load that into the lines and the moments and the cameras. And half the time, like, I was doing it around in spite of the script for the day, the arc for the day, the thing, because I can't speak to what creators intended, but obviously nobody knows this character like I do, and nobody can unless they talk to me. You're free to do stuff, go ahead, but at the end of the day.
Thanks for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. You can find the full live stream shows on our YouTube channel or visit dialthegate.com for the complete schedule. See you on the other side.